Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening into episode 3 of Mets Get It On. Please go support by subscribing on YouTube, leaving comments on the YouTube. Give me a 5-star rating on Spotify if you're feeling so bold. Whatever you can do, it helps, and I'll love you for it. Will, why do you sound even more fired up than normal? Why do you have that extra twinkle in your voice? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening in now, we have arrived at opening day, and opening day is my Christmas morning. Why do I love opening day so much? Well, the Mets are 41-22 for a .651 winning percentage on opening day, best record of any team in the bigs. And it's even crazier, we actually lost our first 8 opening days out of the gate from 1962 through 1970. Meaning we had a World Series title before we had ever won an opening day game. You know, why else do I love opening day? The Mets have only made the playoffs in back-to-back years 2 times in their franchise history, with the last time coming in 2016. So I've entered opening day, coming off of rough years, looking for new hope on a year-to-year basis. And I don't think we've ever had a more steady and stable foundation with Steve Cohen up top, David Stearns as the GM, our new $800 million man in Juan Soto, a man who should be our MVP with Francisco Lindor, and a beautiful, bright future ahead with powerful bats and budding arms coming up in the farm system. So, what do you have to look forward to on opening day? We've got our guy, converted Yankees closer, Clay Holmes, getting the pill. And who are we facing off against? Framber Valdez. Very, very dangerous pitcher, one of the most dangerous pitchers in the bigs for the Houston Astros. So Valdez last year went 15-7 with a 2.91 ERA and 176 innings pitched. He's a workhorse. He's in the Cy Young conversation in the American League most years. Primarily, he throws a sinker at 94 miles an hour, a curveball, and a changeup. So, bottom line, this guy's crafty, this guy's nasty, but I think we can get to him, especially with our history of winning big on opening day. Now, what's going to be new heading into this season? I think a lot of us are figuring out kind of what the new ploy is going to be with OMG retired. Is Grimace going to be back? What did the Mets come out and announce yesterday? We are going to be doing our own version of mascot races. So this was stolen essentially, and I love the idea, but it was stolen essentially from the sausage race in Milwaukee, which takes place during the 6th inning of every home game. You got the brat, you got the chorizo, you got the hot dog, you got the Italian sausage, and you got the Polish sausage, and these guys are all duking it out. I think it's a beautiful thing and kind of a fun thing that adds to the game. What's another race that this was kind of derived from? The President's Race in D.C., where I went to school. Shout out Georgetown Hoyas. The President's Race for the Washington Nationals features George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, and Teddy Roosevelt. Both of those, I think, are totally additive to the fan experience. Helps bring in a casual fan to a game and gets kids and younger audiences involved. So I love this idea. But who are the mascots that we're going to be bringing out? We've got Brooklyn. Essentially, we've got each of the boroughs represented with a different mascot here. Brooklyn is represented by the pizza slice. Manhattan is represented by the skyscraper. Staten Island is represented by the ferry. For the Bronx, they've got a giraffe. I think it's kind of an ode to the Bronx Zoo, but this guy's got a big frown on his face. He's kind of going to be the heel of the race, and people are going to probably be rooting against him a little bit. And for Queens, we have the 7 line, the beautiful subway. So I'm going to love watching that. I think there's kind of little different gimmicky things, but I also think it just adds so much to the fan experience, and I love that Steve Cohen puts the fan first in his ownership all the time. So another tidbit, Citi Field was ranked as the best food in the majors for the 3rd year in a row by U.S. News and World Report for best ballpark food. Me personally, I am a large Premio sausage and a tall goose IPA kind of guy, but you've got Shake Shack, tons of different options. The food at City is amazing, and another reason to get out there. Look, I'm just so damn excited for opening day because, you're having a good day, you want to reward yourself, watch some ball, man. You're having a bad day, you're down in the dumps, it's okay, we got a ball game. There's a game on every day, and it's just a beautiful thing, and I am so dang excited for this season in Queens. Before we dive into this upcoming season, I want to talk about the guys who won spring training. That's super important for some of these fringe roster guys. And the guy who won it, more so than anyone I can think of, is Brett Beatty. Finished with a .353 batting average and a 1.186 OPS. First of all qualified hitters in spring training. This guy's still only 25 years old. He's moved over to second base, and everyone is hoping this is the year that he can pop. Reports are saying that he looks extremely athletic at second base. He's going to be a competent fielder there. If this guy can hit, we want this guy to succeed. I think a lot of fans have kind of given up on him because we've seen him do this. He rakes in AAA, he rakes during spring training, and then the lights turn on and he fades away. But this could be a really good time for this guy to break out, earn a roster spot, and then be one of those low-paid pieces of a roster who's contributing that helps us to offset the price of a Lindor, of a Soto. So amazing start for Brett Beatty. Everything looks like he's going to get plenty of chances to win that second base job, and I'm hoping this is the year that he finally breaks out. And it was announced that he officially made the roster, so he will be with the team for the considerable future. Max Kranick also made the opening day roster. Very, very pumped for this guy. He threw to a 1.46 ERA in 12 innings over spring with a 15-1 strikeout to walk ratio. This guy's got disgusting stuff, and something that I think sets him apart is, he grew up a Mets fan. His favorite player growing up is David Wright. You see the pictures of him as a kid with the Mets jersey on, and I think that just hits different. And I think this guy's going to have a chance to be a real fan favorite. David Stearns loves plucking these guys out of nowhere. He put this guy in the playoff roster last year, and everyone was thinking, what's going on? But it seems like he's been pretty high up in the minds of the front office for a long time. Griffin Canning. He pitched to a 1.88 ERA over 14.1 innings and had 22 strikeouts. This guy's leaving the Angels for a new organization. The Angels, historically mismanaged talent, do not know how to deal with arms. He has been a rubber arm. He's pitched a lot of innings. And because he pitched a lot of innings last year, he actually led the major leagues in runs allowed. There's two ways you can look at that. Oh, is this guy a human pinata? He's getting shelled left and right. Or is this guy a steady, reliable guy that can go out there and continue to pitch? So that's the positive side of it. I think the pitching lab and everything that the Mets are doing behind the scenes are going to tap into this guy. I would not be shocked to see him stick in the rotation when Manaea returns and possibly when Montas returns as well. The upside is there, and most importantly, the consistency is there. Another exciting story and just kind of a fun story, Hayden Sanger. He makes the opening day roster as a backup catcher for the Mets because Francisco Alvarez is on the shelf right now. This guy's got a pretty cool story. He's played in over 400 minor league games. He was drafted in the 24th round of the 2018 MLB draft. This guy in the offseason was working as a cashier at his local Whole Foods just to earn money to keep living, to keep chasing the dream as a ball player. So you absolutely love it when a guy like this can pop. You love it when a guy like this gets his shot because he's been working hard at it for a long time, and that's the dream, man. It's just guys who love to play ball getting their chance and never giving up on the dream. So excited for Hayden Sanger. See how long he lasts, but fun story, and congrats to him for making the squad. I want to dive into some bold predictions for the season. And this one is a Super Bowl prediction. I was initially going to say that he is going to lead the team in wins, but I think David Peterson leads the National League in wins. The Mets went 15-6 in Peterson's starts last year. He should be fully healthy coming off of that hip surgery that he came back from last season. And I just feel like this guy gained a mental edge. A lot of people say he pitched to good luck. A lot of people say his, underlying stats show that he's due for some regression. I see a guy who got out of a lot of pinches. I see a guy who came in as a reliever for massive playoff games for a team that made the NLCS. And I see a guy, the Mets just have this sometimes with certain guys where the sticks come out when this guy's on the mound. I don't know if it's because they think they need to score runs to win because he's going to give a couple up, but this guy always gets run support. Give me David Peterson to lead the National League in wins. This one's not crazy bold, but this is my friggin' guy, so I got to shout him. Pete Alonso. I'm going over 40 homers. I'm going over 120 RBIs. I think something changed after he hit that ball out in right field off of Devin Williams last year. I think he's got his confidence back. I think a weight was lifted off. I think this whole contract talk and pressure and all of that is kind of gone. And I think you're going to see a guy who's going to get a ton of pitches to hit with Juan Soto in front of him and Francisco Lindor in front of him. I think there's going to be a ton of traffic on the bases for this guy. And I think, 40 home runs, he's shown that he can do it before. He's done it a number of times, and he's had the second most home runs since he entered the bigs to Aaron Judge. But 120 RBIs, this guy, people forget, is really, really good when it comes to situational hitting as well and just has a knack for driving guys in. So give me over 40 home runs. Give me over 120 RBIs for the Polar Bear, Pete Alonso. Next up is our guy who is starting on opening day. Some people think I'm crazy. I am very high on him. All of the Mets fans that I am talking to seem to also be extremely high on him. I think Clay Holmes is an all-star this year. He has the highest ground ball percentage in baseball, especially with that sinker. And with our infield defense behind him with the Gold Glove of Lindor, with Beatty playing good defense at second, or potentially Luis Angel Acuna playing really good defense at second as well. I think he's going to have a sparkling ERA. I think he's going to be extremely, extremely strong in the first half of the season. Do I think that eventually the wheels could come off and he could get tired from never having pitched this much amount of volume before? Yeah, absolutely. But give me Clay Holmes as an all-star this season. Next one up, I think Reed Garrett becomes our established setup man. He went 5-0 in April last year with a .57 ERA. Coming out of the gates, everyone was like, this guy is an absolute freakazoid. Who is this journeyman reliever? And why is he on pace for like 25 wins and absolutely striking out everything in sight? I think the league adjusted to him about halfway through the season, and his ERA started ballooning and got above that 4. But then I think he adjusted back to the league late in the season. He's got the stuff. I don't think he's going to get tired. He's never done it before, and he is, I think there is something to be said about the confidence of going through that NLCS run for a lot of these guys. This guy never really had considerable time, and next thing you know, he's pitching on the biggest stage. So I think he's going to be huge for us. I think he becomes a setup man for this squad, and I think he is a piece of the bullpen for the considerable future. I think A.J. Minter's solid. I feel really, really good about what Reed Garrett is going to do out of the pen. I want to jump to, not exactly negativity, but just a little concern for our king, the Ghost Fork man, the Miracle Ball man, Kodai Senga. After his last outing, he came out with, through his interpreter, obviously he's not really speaking too much English, but through his interpreter with this quote: given last year I didn't throw that many pitches, that base is kind of gone now. Am I a little bit worried? Sure, there's a little bit of worry. I'm on the same page with the coaches and training staff and everybody on the team. They're doing their best to keep me on the field, and I'm doing my best to stay on the field. Now, does that sound like a guy that we're confident in as our ace for the entirety of this season? Not necessarily. To me, that sounds like a guy who's kind of a rough tweak away from potentially needing a Tommy John or something like that. So, yeah, I'm nervous about Kodai, especially after that quote. He's certainly got, top shelf stuff. Finished in 7th in the NL Cy Young when he had his last healthy season. I love this guy. He is the most fun pitcher to watch that I know. Maybe him and Skeens, but on the Mets, he dazzles people with his stuff. His ghost fork pitch is unbelievable to watch, and I want this guy to become a cult hero. I want him to stick around for the next 3 years after this one, or 2 years after this one, and be extremely healthy. So I'm hoping he keeps his health. We'll see how that one plays out. Other news and notes. AJ Minter, who I had referred to beforehand, came over in the offseason from the Braves. He is set to start the season with a team for opening day. Came back from injury and is going to be ready to go, so that's awesome news. Obviously, I was just hyping up Reed Garrett, but look, AJ Minter is a game changer if he pitches anything like he has in the past for the Braves, for the Mets. Huascar Brazoban made the squad. A lot of fun. Came over from the Marlins at the trade deadline last year. Didn't pitch that well after the trade deadline, but he has incredible stuff. Seems to be the last guy who made the roster, essentially. But really excited to see what he can do. The stuff is there. I think he'll have a little bit less pressure on him in the beginning of the season and with a lower leverage spot in the pen. And finally, Paul Blackburn is going to start the season on the injured list with right knee inflammation. He's expected back in April. He will probably be our, sixth man and spot starter here and there as he returns. I think Mark Vientos is a massive, massive X factor for this team. He could come out there and hit 40 home runs, take over the third base spot for the considerable future, become kind of a perennial all-star, the guy that we've wanted at third base since David Wright left. Or, the hole in his swing could get exposed and he could have that kind of sophomore slump. I'm sticking with optimism on this one. The guy hits the ball so hard. He's swaggy V. He's at all the Knicks games courtside. He seems to love the moment. And I'm going to ride the wave with him. I got the jersey in the offseason. And then, the biggest game changer, I'm going to have to pinch myself when I see our $800 million man, Juan Soto. For those who are watching on YouTube, you can see I got the brand new merch showing the Soto Shuffle in New York City. Is this guy capable of having a 450 on-base percentage? Sure. Is this guy capable of hitting 40 home runs? Sure. Is the defense going to be okay? We'll see. But, a lot of players have had a tough time adjusting to big contracts as they enter Queens. I don't see that guy getting nervous. He seems almost nerve-proof, and he's just such a safe player, the way that he profiles with the incredible eye, on-base percentage, swing control, discipline, and just confidence bordering on cockiness. So I'm going to have to pinch myself when I see him pitching for us or hitting for us tomorrow. It's so exciting. I think opening day kind of brings out the little kid in me. Makes me feel like I'm an 8-year-old again, going out to Shea Stadium. And there's just something special about baseball, man. Tomorrow's the beginning of a journey. Last year, that journey took us to the NLCS. We'll see where it goes this year. Last year, we started out 0-5. All hope was lost, and it was the greatest season that I can remember, my most fun ever watching as a fan. So lights, camera, action, man. I truly cannot wait, and it's going to be an absolute thrill to see the boys back playing baseball tomorrow. So please go like and please go subscribe where you can. Show some support to your boy. Really appreciated it thus far, And the only thing left to say is opening day has arrived. Let's get it on!